I'm
Um,
Sharon Scott Wilson. I'm publisher and content curator for Resort Trades Magazine, monthly print edition, as well as our digital presence. And today's topic, which I'm very excited to discuss, is Christel House. And here today is Juan Ignacio Rodriguez, who is managing director of RCI International Travel and Leisure Company. So, Juan, if you would introduce yourself and talk a little bit about Crystal House, how you got involved, uh, we'd appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Sharon, and thank you for the space to begin with. I'm Juan Ignacio. I'm heading RCI globally, and we got to remember that RCI was founded originally from Christel House 51 years ago. And when she sold the company, she had the major intention to give back to the community. So more a bit more than 25 years was founded the first school in Mexico, Christel House, Mexico, and basically she had a saying that got deep in my heart, which is we need to provide these poor kids a seat on the table of life, which means if you want to transform the life, you need to go through the education. But that education needs to be holistic. Holistic means we have four main pillars: education, health and nutrition, community, and life and career. So that's why a long time ago, when I started in RCI, it caught my attention what a way to give back to the community and to transform these lives. So I've been involved. Uh, I was involved in many of the fundraising campaigns. Then I took part of the board of Christel House Mexico, and 1 year ago I took part as well as the board of Christel House International. And in both organizations, I run the fundraising campaign.
Well, that's a lot of work for one fella. But I know you have a wonderful staff too that supports you. But um, I wonder if we could talk a little bit about Crystal herself and her legacy, and what that means to you personally.
For me, the main legacy was being a successful business woman, creating this huge empire. And I have to say, the timeshare industry pretty much owe many of the things to RCI, because she founded RCI, and with that concept was able resorts and developers were able to boost the market, if I may use that word, back in the 70s, the 80s, and by the time the big brands were involved in this market, like the Hiltons, the Marriotts of this world, Wyndham, uh, really boost and grew the market importantly. Being that successful, and at some point in time of her life, deciding that she needed to give back importantly to the community, that is a very strong legacy, because that shows commitment. She was always committed to these kids, the kids that we have today in Crystal House. Just to give you kind of a scope of it, today we have 9 schools in 5 different countries. We do have the charter schools in the US, we have the school in Mexico, we have 2 schools in India, we have the school in South Africa, and one in Jamaica. We have, as we speak, more, probably a bit more than 20,000 alumni. So that means the kind of the origin of Crystal House, the train of thought of transforming life today is a reality. We have transformed more than 20,000 lives.
Yes, remarkable. And I know she used to talk about breaking the cycle of poverty. And what better way to do it than helping to grabbing young people and providing all of this holistic approach. It's just a really remarkable concept. I know we miss Crystal all the time, um, but her legacy goes on thanks to you and others. So appreciate it. And I did want to mention at one point, Resort Trades had offered to provide free advertising for Crystal House. And once we're off this call, I plan to contact Crystal House and offer, uh, reiterate that offer. I'm very pleased to do it.
And I have to be very grateful and thank you for this offer, because basically, let me put it kind of two concepts. One is how we have transformed these lives. 88% of our alumni or graduates have 3 times more formal employment rate of their peers. 3 times. So in that sense, you're transforming not only the kid, but the entire community around himself, which is important.
Yeah.
95% of the alumni in higher education and employment, which means it's a tremendous effort, because you take a kid since 6 years old and you finish that at 18, all the from elementary to high school, and then we follow up with life and career, which means we need to help them to go through college, so you transform completely. So that's from what we do in Crystal House. Equally important, we're in a very important moment of Crystal House. We have decided at the international board that we're going to grow 5 more schools.
Oh, wow. That was
We
my
will,
next question.
yeah, it's
So what are your future plans? That's lovely.
the plans are, uh, we're gonna have another school in India, most likely in Pune, with the support of the government. We're gonna expand our school in South Africa. We are in the process of closing the space that we will use for the second school in Mexico.
Great.
We are evaluating to have our first school. It could be Colombia or Peru. We have not decided yet. And last but not least, we are evaluating 3 or 4 countries in Africa. So this represents tons of work, tons of work in terms of planning, in terms of commitment, in terms of obviously the development, but in terms of fundraising.
Oh, yeah, that's your problem.
Yeah. We need to find people who can believe, breathe, and embrace the cause. Because when you do these social responsible activities, sometimes you see immediate effects. In the case of Crystal House, it's to have an effect, it's around 22 years or 20 years from
Yeah.
six to the college.
Well, I think when Crystal House first started, and they had this place in Mexico City. I worked for ARDA at the time, and several of us went to visit, and it was so impressive. They had taken children from,
Orphans.
yeah,
Many of them, they were orphans.
uh-huh. And and the teachers were so phenomenal, and the setting was so inspiring and uplifting. It was really touched us. But uh, so anything we can do to get involved, even beyond the advertising.
Well,
Uh,
yes, yes. I mean, there was a turning point, because there was a non that we as RCI used to support, and when Christel sold the company, and she went to visit, and she was committed to continue to support this non and the kids. She had a second thought, which is, if we're gonna do the things, we're gonna do it the right way.
Mm.
We're gonna go all the way. And that was the detonator, or that was who spark, if I may use that word, the first Christel House school that you visit. And basically, in a nutshell, we accept kids that the whole household income is not more than two minimum wage in the country. So that means they are in extreme poverty,
Right,
the whole
right.
family, because sometimes live two or three families at the same home. So you can imagine the conditions that we take these kids.
Yeah,
That's why we grab the commitment from the parents as well, because it's a process.
it's a
It's a
family.
process that we have proof that it works,
Mm.
that you have the final product, if I may use that word, is there. They're working, they transform their lives, but obviously it's expensive, the model.
Well, that's true. Uh, well, and while we're on the topic, what would you have? How would you have listeners or viewers of this video? How can they get involved?
Well, there's many ways. Obviously, we are fundraising to continue to grow, which it means economic support. Second, we always need support from. We do these weeks where we bring speakers to the kids, so they can have different point of views of professionals, time, network. Very often, people want to help, but they don't know how.
Right.
So please get in contact with us. There's tons of way that you can help us. As long as you understand one important thing, the basics of a society are based on how good education could be. If you take kids and could be well educated, they're gonna be a good citizens, and they're gonna have a place in their life, and they're gonna share that with the immediate circle, family, friends. So that's where the transformation starts. So please get in contact with us. We have tons of way to base of finding ways to embrace whomever wants to support us.
Yeah, absolutely. Great. That's great. I'm very inspired. Uh, Before we leave that topic, I wanted to also acknowledge, I've heard that you're embracing innovation and yet still adhering to Crystal's principles. So I wanted to hear something more about that.
Well, it is an interesting topic because uh, Crystal, as she used to run RCI, like a family company. Let's put it that way. Christel House was such a family crystal oriented. And at some point in time, she decided to institutionalize Crystal House for many reasons. Obviously, the age of Crystal. Uh, uh, Second, because of the expansion, she understood that we're doing good things, but we need to expand. And by that time, she also created the what is called the Endless Succession Fund, which means primarily that every single dollar that we receive goes directly to the kids. The fund is used for all of the administrative expenses, and that's a very important thing for life, by the way, for life. So there is that fund will provide to Christel House International the funds to continue to grow, and we continue to fundraising, so that money goes directly to the kids. What does that has to do with innovation? We need to innovate as well. Education needs to innovate. We have been in a trend of innovating the way we manage the schools, the way we teach the kids, the way we insert technology and new things to these kids so they can be prepared in life. Is no different than running a company. Running a company, you need to innovate, you need to bring more different systems, different today AI in what you do. The same thing will happen with the schools or with education. You need to be kind of a parallel with the times.
Yeah, well, uh, absolutely. I'm so glad that there continues to be this line of succession and the uh, ability to continue this great cause, because boy, she really was a genius. And
She was.
yeah, so in the notes of on YouTube under this video, we will put contact information and the website, etc. Did you have anything else that you wanted to add? Oh,
Well,
I know I did want to know about RCI's connection with Crystal House. How is that continuing today?
RCI today is part of a major company, stock exchange company, is part of Travel and Leisure. And Travel and Leisure is pretty much involved as a social responsible company activities. Is very involved in education, very involved. We are very involved in supporting some youth people in the Florida Peninsula. We have several causes, and Travel and Leisure will continue to be involved in Crystal House because it's part of the DNA. I mean, Travel and Leisure have two major companies, or everything that has to do with vacation ownership, selling timeshare, and RCI. And RCI is Crystal House is in the DNA of RCI. So we'll continue to support, and not only because it was founded by Crystal Dehan, but because we're as Travel and Leisure very involved in supporting education.
That's great. Well, and it provides so much hope for the future for so many people. Really is a worthwhile cause. And I thank you so much, Juan, for your time. And I guess in conclusion, if you wanted to have anything to add.
Yes, before I conclude, I have to say I'm very grateful to you, Sharon, to use this space. I believe when you have these social causes, we need all of us. We are the ones who makes a difference. There's no one single point. I mean, we need as a team to continue to help good causes around the world. My final remarks will be I've been involved in many causes, but I can tell you that I have seen personally transforming lives, kids that I met 20 years ago, 22 years ago, 23 years ago, and there's nothing that pleases me more to see them insert or having that seat in the table of life. So thank you very much, Sharon. It's a wonderful pleasure to me, and being very grateful on behalf of Crystal House.
Oh, well, thank you. It is our pleasure. Well, have a good weekend and hope to catch up with you and see you soon.